Now, earlier this week, International Rugby League banned transgender athletes from competing in women's internationals, including this year's World Cup. It follows swimming's world governing body, FINA, voting to restrict the participation of transgender athletes in elite women's competitions. Now, Verity Smith is a transgender male and played women's rugby for 26 years before transitioning. I'm delighted to say joins us now. Really good to see you. What do you make of the latest rulings, and were you expecting them?
Morning, everybody. I hope you can hear me okay. I was definitely not expecting to hear this from Rugby League, especially my own sport, and definitely disappointed to hear it in regards to the swimming as well. We're seeing a lot of unsettlement within the trans community at the moment, and a lot of worrying conversations with young people who are wondering whether they can still play their sport going forward and what's going to happen for them in the future as they grow up into adulthood, and what that sport's going to look like for them.
I was listening to Caitlin Jenner, of course, who won the decathlon in the Montreal Olympics, a famous gold medalist, speaking about this very thing and saying, you know, she believes it's to try and protect women's sports. Can you understand that side of things?
The problem is humans come in all different shapes and sizes. Take rugby, for example. You've got a scrum half, you've got a second row. You can have a couple of foot difference in that, and that's okay. And myself, I played women that were over 6'4" and 20 stone. But as soon as you have the conversation around trans inclusion with that, it becomes another conversation, and that's not allowed. And we need to start having the correct conversations over what is actually happening. We need to start with inclusion. We're seeing all this filter. We're talking about elite sports, but we're now seeing this filtering down into young people as well. We've heard of a 9-year-old that's been banned from swimming, children being banned from sports days already. We've got young people banned from rugby. We need to start having a look at this and actually speaking with the community and having lived experience as part of this. And one of the things we're wanting to do is national sports bodies and sports governing councils to start having a look at inclusion rather than exclusion from the start.
Yeah, it is a really good idea. I think discussions, open discussions, certainly need to be had. And these organisations, both of them, they speak about new policies and establishing working groups with the aim of inclusivity. Did you think it's a sincere commitment that they're going to be working to help?
I think we need to involve lived experience. I think we need to work with the community. A lot of these conversations at the moment are with people from women's rights gender critical groups where we don't have the correct information. We don't have lived experience. We need to be speaking with us. We need to be listening to what's being said. A lot of people are about to lose their sports. If other people lose their sports, what we're going to do for them to support them mentally. And again, sport's good for everybody, whether that's mental or whether that's physical health as well. And we don't just learn to throw a football. We don't learn just to kick a ball. We take lots of things into adulthood when we're young. We take in learning to meet new friends, working with our peers, management, leadership skills. Why shouldn't children be able to do that as well? And I think if we take the word trans off this, they're just children who want to go out there and play sport the same as themselves. And at the moment, we're hearing things from young people who are distressed. And again, sports bodies are saying, yes, we can have a look at that if a young person doesn't go through puberty at the age of 12. You can't get hold of any information. People are getting stopped through the NHS pathways and through medical transitioning. So how are young people supposed to be able to get into those levels that are being asked for from national governing bodies? And the other part of that is as well, why are we asking young people to go through this at this age when it's going to affect them into adulthood as well? We're sort of pigeonholing them into making a decision now, as in what it's going to look like for them as an adult if they want to carry on playing sport.
And just finally from you, Verity, do you worry now, because this has obviously happened in swimming with these bans and rugby leagues, that many more will just continue to follow suit? We know the International Olympic Committee said it was up to each sport to decide, but do you just feel there's going to be a bit of a domino effect now?
I think so, and unfortunately we're already seeing that as well. We saw World Rugby ban trans women and girls. We've now seen it from swimming, athletics are talking about it. We've seen football coming out, rugby league. And the issue is as well, there's not enough trans people to actually look at this, to talk about coming over, dominance, taking over sports. And that's not happening. There's no proportionality within this, and the number, there's around 8 trans women playing rugby league in 15 countries. There's 2 trans women playing rugby union out of approximately 37,000 in England. It's just showing what's happening at the moment, and media is playing a massive effect on this at the moment. Young children are seeing it out there, and we've heard things like, how am I supposed to live when the people that I look up to hate me, when they've seen famous sports people having comments in social media. We need to make sure that children are seeing they're loved, that they've got a safe space, and it shouldn't be, am I allowed to play? It's how do we get you involved? And Mermaids at the moment are working on active about inclusion as well, to make sure we work with national governing bodies so we can help around policy, we can work around legal. And we've also just released an open letter that people can sign and share to make sure that we're letting people know the voices of the community and what's actually happening out there to people.
Yes, some really good points there. Thank you very much for speaking with us this morning.